just switching lanes, it was something you wanted to talk about, and that is the EV goals for the federal government. So they've apparently switched and they've backed off from the EV mandate. So they say. So if you get all your news from the mainstream media, and I know people watching this don't, the Canadian federal government has shifted its policy from a hard 2035 ban on new gas car sales to a new regulatory approach aiming for 75% zero emission vehicle sales by 2035 and 90% by 2040. And then they've built in some incentives, of course. So we're going to subsidize rich people to buy their hobby cars into this. And I think even they had to admit that it was unsustainable and crazy, but it still remains unsustainable and crazy. And as you point out, this is just shifting from hard targets into regulatory nonsense.
Exactly. So thank you for giving me a chance to talk about this, because so much of it got carried away in the ban is gone. Yay. Like the witch is dead. But it's, I don't like saying this, but I think it could be worse actually. So first, the good news, the government is in retreat on this. Okay. It's in reverse, so to speak. So they realize that this is super unpopular, stupid, and they can't really get away with it up front. Super similar to the consumer carbon tax. So the consumer carbon tax win was better though, because, you know, my gas is about 20 cents cheaper per liter here in Lethbridge because that consumer carbon tax is gone. Of course, the devil's in the details where we still have two big hidden carbon taxes, but straight up, the consumer carbon tax is gone, which is very good. With this, it's like, okay, they were going to outright ban them. So starting in 11 months' time, they were going to make it so that 2 out of every 10 cars sold at a dealership had to be a battery-powered vehicle, an EV. Now they're like, oh, we're going to regulate it instead of mandating it instead, which is worse. So instead of, you know, the bad guys, metaphorically speaking, coming up over the ridge wearing red coats, they're all now hiding in the bushes. Okay.
Right.
We got to,
and there's more of them.
Exactly. We got to change our tactics here because Carney's trying to hide it in regulation. And again, if people have not read this book yet, go read this book. I know, like, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to spend money on it, but take it out from the library, borrow it from a friend or something. Read this book because Mark Carney wrote this. All through it are things like why we need battery-powered vehicles, why carbon taxes are the best thing ever, 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 why we need personal carbon accounts, which I don't understand yet. So this guy wrote this book and he's got your wallet. He's got your wallet. Read this book. So if you read that book, you understand that this is all just shifting to regulation now. And so essentially what's happening is not forcing you, but taking away all your other vehicle choices until you comply.
Right.
Right. So that's one. Two.
Definitely not coercion. Definitely not coercion.
So that's one thing. And two, from the money side of things, this is where in the Taxpayers Federation, we were like, wait, what? Like, this is not going to work. Like, not going to work. Even the federal government, Sheila, so Natural Resources Canada, did a huge study on this. They're estimating that the transition to electric is going to cost more than $300 billion with a B. That's the feds estimating that. Like, tack more money onto that one because they always underestimate. And so his announcement didn't solve for that problem.
Right.
Like, okay, but you still want all of us driving battery-powered vehicles. Where is the energy going to come from? And where is the money going to come from to build the infrastructure? Because when we all started driving gas-powered vehicles, and when we want to stop at a local gas station, the government didn't build the gas station.
Right.
The economy in the market created it due to demand, convenience, and affordability. Like, we're really worried that this is just shifting it so that it's camouflaged.
Right.
So again, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but folks really have to keep paying attention to this because they're still going to try to dictate what kind of vehicle you can purchase and drive. And essentially, from the taxpayer's perspective, like, we have unmoney.
Yeah.
Like, the government can't afford this because taxpayers can't afford this. So
right.
he
And they
hasn't
shouldn't be
explained that.
doing this. They shouldn't be meddling in the market this way.
No.
And this is what liberals do. They, particularly this batch of them, Mark Carney himself, they remove the consumer carbon tax, which we love, but then they move to hide it upstream in an industrial carbon tax that doesn't show up as a line item that enrages you on your gas bill. And they're doing the same thing here.
It's exactly the same play. So we're still going to be poorer because of it, and have fewer choices, and have government up in our grill dictating what kind of vehicles and stuff. But again, like, we don't have the money. Like, I'm starting to, in fact, I'm not going to say I'm starting to worry. I think that a lot of humanities grads have gone into government, and they've actually infected like econ now. And I think they think math is a social construct.
Yeah.
Or like money is a social construct. It's not, but I think that's what they're thinking. And like, we can't keep this up, my friend.